The 20 most valuable 1989 score baseball cards. No one is going to mistake 1989 score baseball cards for T3 Turkey Reds or even for 1989 Upper Deck baseball cards. Score's second baseball issue is no great work of art, and it was produced in quantities so large that the cards are generally not worth much at all these days. On the other hand, 1989 Score does present a clean look, with decent photography on card fronts and backs. It's also graced with a pretty strong rookie card crop. And all these cards on the market means that it's not impossible to find perfect specimens, as in cards that grade out at PSA 10, for example. Some of those gems still hold some value too. What follows then is a list of the most valuable 1989 score baseball cards based on recent eBay sales of PSA 10 specimens. We'll start at the bottom of the pile and work our way to the most expensive cards. 1989 score Greg Maddux, number 119. After a couple of years of putrid records and ERAs, Maddux broke out to the tune of 18-8, 3.18 ERA, and it was the first salvo of what would become an assault on a spot in Cooperstown. It also added a bit of extra oomph to the side of the future Mad Dog and Cubby's pinstripes, as we see on this bright 1989 scorecard. Value $15 to $20. 1989 score Sandy Alomar Jr. Rookie card, number 630. Everybody was pretty sure in the late 1980s that the Alomar brothers were going to be something special. All we were unsure about at the time was A, when they were going to arrive, and B, which one would get to the Hall of Fame first. As it turned out, Roberto won on both those battles, as it took Sandy Jr. a couple of more years to get on track. When he did, though, he won the 1990 American League MVP award for the Cleveland Indians. Before that, he appeared on this extreme close-up 1989 rookie card. Value $15 to $25. 1989 score RYNE SANDBERG, number 35. By 1989, Rhino was a bona fide superstar, and all of his cards were sought-after gems each spring. This score beauty shows the Cubs Hall of Fame second baseman in action, white pinstripe uniform blazing in the Wrigley Field sunshine, and the fabled Ivy photobombing the whole tableau. Cardboard doesn't get much more 1980s baseball-y than this. Value $15 to $25. 1989 score Rickey Henderson, number 70. Like Bonds, Rickey Henderson is one of the greatest baseball players of all time, and one who did his damage mostly while playing in left field. In 1989, Henderson was about to embark on maybe the most productive stretch of his career, and he would be on cardboard fire in the hobby by the time he broke Lou Brock's stolen base record in 1991. Rickey's cards maintain a lot of that glow even today, and his 1989 score fits that bill. Value $20 to $25. 1989 score Cal Ripken Jr., number 15. Cal Ripken hit something of a lull in the late 1980s as his games played streak marched on. His batting averages and overall production slid downward. The Orioles legend took a lot of heat too, and plenty of folks suggesting that he should rest now and then in the name of boosting his output. Cal, of course, resisted and forged a resurgence in the early 1990s that cemented his place as one of the most popular players to ever lace up his spikes. Not surprisingly, Ripken's cards are always among the most valuable in any set they're part of, and this 1989 score is no exception. Value $20 to $25. 1989 score Barry Bonds, number 127. Yep, people love to hate Barry Bonds. Yep, he's always having all kinds of trouble getting into the Hall of Fame. But nope, none of that changes the fact that he's one of the greatest hitters of all time, and enough collectors believe in that notion to keep his cards on the high-value list. This early career Pirates card is a must-have for Bonds collectors. Value $20 to $30. 1989 score Jose Canseco, number 1. After watching Wally Joyner steal his early season thunder in 1986, Canseco stormed back to win the American League Rookie of the Year award. Then the next summer, Jose took a back seat to ace teammate Mark McGwire, and Big Mac clubbed 49 home runs to smash the rookie record and become the darling of baseball. Not one to take a loss of the spotlight lightly, Canseco declared far and wide that he would hit 40 home runs and steal 40 bases in 1988, thereby chartering the 40-40 club. And by golly, if he didn't go out and club 42 and steal 40. He led the A's to the World Series and was named American League MVP for his efforts. Oh, and he also scored card number 1 in the 1989 score set. And that's this one, in case you missed it. And it's still something of a landmark pasteboard, albeit a cheap and cheesy sort of way. Value at $20 to $30. 1989 score Edgar Martinez, rookie card, number 637. You can debate the merit of the designated hitter all day long, but it's hard to deny the sheer quality of Edgar Martinez's stats at the plate. 312, 418, 515, with 309 home runs among his 2,274 hits, good enough for a 68.4 WAR. Also good enough for the Hall of Fame election in 2019. 30 years before that, Edgar made his score debut, and that rookie card still a collector favorite today. Value $20 to $30. 1989 scorer Mike SCHMIDT, number 149. SCHMIDT struggled with injuries in 1988, and they continued to pile up the next spring, eventually leading to his abrupt retirement in late May. Even as he hung up his spikes, though, the Philadelphia legend looked pretty darn mighty here in the confines of his 1989 scorecard, connecting hard in his powder blue Philadelphia uniform. In a way, then, for SCHMIDT fans especially, this makes this the most valuable of all 1989 score baseball cards. Value $20 to $30. 1989 scorer Craig Biggio, rookie card number 237. Biggio was once a promising catching prospect who showed every sign of making good on that promise, as evidenced by his Silver Slugger and All-Star appearance at the position before moving across the diamond to second base in 1992. This 1989 card of the budding superstar was Biggio's first base score issue. He appeared in the rookie/traded set in 1988 and remains popular with collectors. Value $25 to $30. 1989 scorer Will Clark, number 450. Clark led the National League with 109 RBI and 100 walks in 1988, and he made his first All-Star team appearance for his Troubles. Then, while collectors were pulling this colored, mismatched scorecard in 1989, Clark was busy putting up an 8.6 WAR en route to finishing second in the National League MVP voting to teammate Kevin Mitchell, while leading the San Francisco Giants to the World Series. Sweet swinging Will the Thrill has better Hall of Fame credentials than some guys that are already enshrined. And if he ever does get the call, you can bet his 1989 scorecard and every other card featuring the natural will see a nice bump in price. Value $25 to $30. 1989 scorer Kirby Puckett, number 20. Already a superstar after the Twins' run to the World Series title in 1987, Puckett became something of a monster in 1988. A 356 batting average, 24 home runs, 121 RBI, 109 runs, and 358 total bases. All of that only served to amp up demand for Puck's cards even higher than they already were. This score entry, featuring a classic shot of Puck in the batter's box, is as popular as ever. Value $25 to $30. 1989 scorer Tony Gwynn, number 90. After the home run barrage of 1987, pitchers took back a big hunk of their territory in 1988, thanks in a large part to some fiddling around with the definition of the upper reaches of the strike zone. The effect was a dramatic reduction in the top-end home run production, and in the National League at least, a dampening on batting averages. I mean, it was so bad that Tony Gwynn, he of the 2 batting titles, an amazing 370 average the year before, could manage only a measly 313 in 1988. And it turned out to be 6 points better than the next National League scrub could manage. Rafael Palmeiro finished runner-up for the hitting crown with a 307 mark. Not that any of that mattered to collectors, who kept on chasing Gwynn's 1983 rookie cards, as well as smiling ear to ear when they pulled a new Mr. Padre card, like this one, from the 1989 packs. Value $25 to $35. 1989 scorer John Smoltz, rookie card, number 616. Smoltz took an unusual path to Cooperstown, but he made it there anyway. Like Dennis Eckersley before him, Smoltz turned his experience as a starter into a stellar late career run as a closer. Unlike Eck, though, Smoltz returned to the rotation in his last few years. That combo pack made his election inevitable, and it also kept his score rookie card in the hobby limelight today. Value $25 to $35. 1989 scorer Don Mattingly, number 100. Mattingly saw his power plummet in 1987, and especially 1988, dropping from 31 home runs and an MLB best .573 slugging percentage in 1986 to a much more pedestrian 18 dingers and a .462 slug in 1988. As it turned out, that was our warning signs that Donnie Baseball's back troubles would be his doom. But at the time, fans and collectors alike sort of looked the other way and kept pumping money into his merchandise and cards. And though we may never see the hitman in Cooperstown, his 1980s hobby mystique is tough to shake, as evidenced by his presence here among the most valuable 1989 score baseball cards. Value $30 to $40. 1989 score Mark McGwire, number 3. Big Mac was up and down in performance and popularity over the first 10 years or so of his career. But once he landed with the St. Louis Cardinals and settled into a groove that saw him smacking home runs at a historic pace season after season, it was up, up, up for McGwire and his baseball cards until, the PED bubble burst. The man who broke Roger Maris's single-season home run record is unlikely to ever be elected to the Hall of Fame, but there are still plenty of collectors who cherish the memories and the cards that stir them up. Value $30 to $40. 1989 score Nolan Ryan, number 300. Talk about a guy who always has some of the most valuable cards in a set. No one can carry Nolan Ryan's jockstrap when it comes to popularity and expensive cards, and the general theme applies here too. This 1989 score was among the last base cards to show Ryan as a member of the Houston Astros, and it even features the rainbow shoulders to good effect. The reward for that aesthetic effect is a tidy price tag for perfect graded copies. Value $30 to $40. 1989 scorer Gary Sheffield, rookie card, number 625. Once upon a time, Gary Sheffield was the can't-miss nephew of Dwight Gooden, and a young man who was going to rewrite the record books. Then came attitude issues and some early struggles that dimmed his shine, and we weren't sure anymore. Then came a trade to the San Diego Padres and the beginning of an upward trajectory that would take Sheff to 8 Major League Baseball franchises in 22 years and leave him with more than 500 home runs and nearly 2,700 hits. He was a masher whose numbers say Cooperstown, but his steroid-laden clouds have wrecked his Hall of Fame campaign. Still, his rookie scorecard sticks around on lists like this one. Value $35 to $40. 1989 score Bo Jackson, number 330. Bo in blue was a sight to behold, and the baseball cards that take us back to those precious few moments when he was at bat, when everything seemed possible, still hold an indescribable mystique for us oldsters who witnessed one of the greatest athletes of the last half of the century. Like other cards on this list, there are plenty of these to go around, but there's still even more demand for a piece of Bo Jackson nostalgia. After all, this may be just the most hopeful of all 1989 score baseball cards. Value $40 to $50. 1989 scorer Randy Johnson, rookie card, number 645. In 1989, Randy Johnson was huge, gangly, fast, and wild. And he was trying to make his way with the Montreal Expos. A trade to the Seattle Mariners not long after his score rookie card hit store shelves, though, set the stage for Johnson to become the big unit. 3 decades later, Johnson is a living legend, and his first scorecard brings the heat whenever it's on display. This one stands tall in the constant battle with Bo for the title of the most valuable of all 1989 score baseball cards. Value $40 to $50. WaxPackGods.com